right, we are on how to negotiate tough times, dealing with the current crisis like a survivor. We're with survivor Holly Hoffman, who was on season 21, Survivor Nicaragua, and that's on CBS. And it looks like, Holly, you have now donned a little headpiece here. Is that because we were getting later in our series, or what is that?
I mean, like, are we on day 39? We have the same clothes on? Are we starting to smell? You know, there's one set of clothes, but this is my buff. This is my actual original buff that I wore when I played the game of Survivor. And basically, everyone always has to keep their tribe buff on to indicate what tribe you're on. And I always wore mine on my head just like this because I was so concerned about what my hair looked like on national television. So, you know, some would wear them around their wrists, some would wear them as little tube tops or little skirts, but I always had mine on my head. So I thought it was very appropriate today to put my buff on.
You know, I bet when you're in a survivor type of situation, just taking a shower after all that time is just a joy, right?
Yes, I didn't shower for 38 days. I didn't brush my teeth for 38 days. I didn't use toilet paper for 38 days.
Oh my gosh.
It makes you realize the importance of being grateful and appreciating the little things in life. And I also think that that's something that we need to talk about, how we're thriving to survive right now through this crisis, is the value of toilet paper, the value of hand sanitizer, the value of having groceries in your home. I don't know about you, Linda, but I've also recognized I'm going to have some leftovers. I'm not just going to eat a meal and here I am with a leftover and go, I'll just make something else. How we're all getting through this and realizing the importance of the little things.
Yeah, you know, some people who've been through the depression, some of our more senior members of our society are saying this reminds them of that, where they're really making thoughtful choices because they have less, or they're afraid that they're going to wear something's going to go away. And we're actually much more fortunate. We have a lot more communications. We have delivery service. And we forget that people, you know, have been in very scarce times. In a lot of places around the world, they're really suffering. And you're right. We need to have gratefulness for what we have now. I cannot imagine that many days without toilet paper, though. So I bet when you're seeing everybody kind of stock up and even hoard it, you're not happy with them, are you?
Well, it makes me go back to Survivor because I remember thinking, this is unbelievable, because I didn't expect it when I went out there. I thought, oh, they have porta potties, and they didn't. But it's one word, and this is another word we all need to think about. It's adapting. How are we adapting to this crisis? How are we getting through it? We have to make the changes, and we have to adapt.
Well, that's true, because work is different, life is different, and right now, I heard this instead of social distancing, because we're recording this during the COVID-19 issues, but you know, it's just physical distancing. We don't want to socially distance. We still want to talk to each other and communicate. And I thought that you had some, you know, in your 6 words, there's faith, there's attitude, determination, confidence, but those last 2, that 5 and 6, desire and perseverance. That's really important right now, isn't it?
It is. We all have to have the desire to survive. And how we do that is we thrive. How we do that is we look at the things that we have, not what we don't have. This is hard for everyone. Yeah. Every single person is going through this. But we have to have the desire to come together and say, how are we going to get through this? Just like in Survivor, how am I going to get to day 39? How am I going to sleep in the rain for 17 days? How am I going to make the merge? So that's you have to have the desire, and that comes within. The desire within to self-talk. I know that's what helps me a lot of times, is talking even to myself sometimes and saying, okay, Holly, you can do this. Holly, what do you want to do today? Holly, how are you going to get to tomorrow? So desire is also about adapting, change, and self-talk.
And that self-talk is really interesting. I had a coach one time say, write down what you're saying to yourself.
Yes.
And many of us criticize ourselves. Many of us. And unfortunately, it's in our own voice then, in your head. And when you read what you say to your, oh, that was so stupid, I can't believe you did that, you think, I would never say that to my worst enemy.
No.
Why am I saying it to the one that's supposed to try to get me through this?
Right.
And if you can just be a little kinder, a little more encouraging, and say, what would I say to a friend? What would I say to a child? What would I say to someone that was going through something like I'm going through? And all of a sudden, those words change. So that's great. Now, perseverance. Do you have some ideas for us on perseverance?
Perseverance is never giving up. If I would have walked off the game of Survivor on day 5, I'd have been noted as a quitter. And quitting is the easiest thing you will ever do in your life. It's very easy to quit, but it's on times of uncertainty is where you show your strength and you show how you're going to turn adversity into strength. So it's just that you can't give up. You need to take the words that we're talking about. You need to blend them together, and you need to continue to persevere. We need to keep going, one day at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time.
Yeah, and this is when creativity really comes out.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, I am going to persevere, I'm not going to quit. It's interesting how inventive we become. We see some of our businesses doing it. They're changing on providing more healthy attire for people, or maybe they're doing ventilators or whatever they're doing.
Yes.
Or you see businesses offering, I'm a restaurant, I want to help you. What can I do to help you feed your family? It's amazing what people are willing to do to persevere, and it's just a desire to survive.
Yes, and then you look back, when you don't quit, and you're able to look back and go, wow, I did that. I made it through and I didn't quit. That is such a self-accomplishment. You just feel so like you reached your goal. So yes, you'll be able to look back and say, how did I get through that? And then the next challenge that you face, you're going to look back and say, well, this is how I got through this, so I know I can get through this.
Yeah, and a lot of us have had something that we've persevered through. So we just have to remind ourselves, you can do this. And if you haven't, if you've never really faced something like this, this is your thing.
Yes.
And moving forward for the rest of your life, you'll remember this period of time in your life and what you did to survive. And it'll always be something to encourage you that you can do it.
Right.
So Holly, would you just, I know you have a special phrase you always end with, would you just remind us of your 6 words and then that special phrase that you want to say?
Yes, the 6 words to survival are faith, attitude, determination, confidence, desire, and perseverance. Because nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start right here today and make a new ending.
Say that one more time, Holly. That's important.
Yes, nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending.
I love it. What a great way to end this segment. Thank you so much, Holly Hoffman. We can survive. You can get through these tough times. You can negotiate this. I'm Linda Swindling. This is Holly Hoffman. Go out there and get them.
Thank you.